It's just something that's both of them.
Okay. It's,
Not sure where Mr. Smith went.
kept trying to look it up.
Thank you.
He said it
No.
to the men's.
Lecture.
Yeah, maybe.
That's both
I agree with your wife.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Frank Friedman, and I'd like to read a few words before we start this meeting. These are the guidelines for addressing Lexington City Council. Comments are always welcome, and I invite you to sign up if you wish to speak tonight. I will recognize those signed up during the citizens' remarks section of the council's agenda. We also have the public hearing, and that'll be a time to hear from our neighborly agencies. Citizens who wish to speak to council but neglect to sign up in advance may be permitted to address the city council during citizens' remarks and comments agenda item, but only at the discretion of the mayor. When speaking to the city council, I ask that these guidelines be followed. Once recognized to speak, please come forward and stand at the podium. And for the record, state your name and if you are a resident of Lexington, Virginia. If you want to be contacted after this meeting, please provide your contact information to the clerk. Please make your comments to the council as a whole. Please do not engage the audience. Please be brief, state your position, and provide facts. Please provide written statements and/or supporting materials to the clerk, Ms. Kate Beard, for distribution to the city council and the city manager. Debate is prohibited. This is a time for you to share your thoughts and ideas with your city council. Please speak clearly as we want to hear what you have to say. Each speaker will be allotted 3 minutes, and individuals may not yield their allotted time to another person. If you represent a group, 5 minutes are allotted, and you're invited to identify the other members of your group who are in attendance. The council or mayor may allow exceptions to these guidelines at their discretion. I remind us all that meetings of the Lexington City Council are formal proceedings and are recorded. And with that, I would like to call our meeting to order. And the first item of business, if you all will please stand and join me in a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. The next item on the agenda is consideration of the agenda. And there has been a request by the city manager to add a closed session at the end. And with that addition, I would ask for council, if you have no objections, we will approve it with that closed session added to our agenda. Hearing no objections, it is approved. Have no proclamations tonight, but thankful for all the smiling faces joining us this evening. We will jump right into the public hearings and item 6.1, public hearings to review of the proposed fiscal year 2027 budget and fiscal year 2027 agency funding requests. And I'll call on the city manager to introduce this. And also check to see if anyone signed up to speak.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to ask Finance Director Jennifer Bell to just discuss a little bit about what's relevant to this public hearing this evening.
Thank you. Good evening. And I feel like I'm building momentum with the budget and just public hearings in general. I had one person speak at the last one, and I think I have at least 3 who are going to participate tonight. So thank you for paying attention. The FY27 budget that we've presented, it is a balanced budget. We are not proposing any real estate or personal property tax increases in 27. However, as had been planned, we're going to implement the second half of the stormwater fee in 27, which will raise it from 30 cents per equivalent dwelling unit to 60 cents. And in addition, we are proposing an 8% increase to our water and sewer rates. And we are receiving an 8.18% increase from the MSA. And we were able to get by with not proposing an increase last year, well, for this current year, but we're not going to be able to do it 2 years in a row. We have nearly $20 million in the budget for infrastructure and capital projects. We have also maintained the living wage concept as calculated by MIT. And unfortunately, we saw a 25% increase in our health insurance premiums for staff. So we're doing our best to combat that. We tried to give a little bit higher of an increase to staff this year to help a little bit. We're looking at a 4% increase for most of our staff. But some of the staff who are able to benefit from the living wage concept, they're going to get a little higher percentage of an increase. Tonight, the other part of the public hearing is to talk about the agency requests. And while we did propose to fund many of them, there were some that were recommended not to be funded or not funded at 100%. So I do look forward to the presentations. I know some of those folks are here to talk to us tonight, so we can go ahead and you'll give us good stuff to think about. Nothing further.
Thank you, Jen. Members of council have any questions or contributions to Jen's comments? Very good. Hearing none, I would like to open the public hearing. And first signed up to speak are representatives of Lime Kiln Theater, Spencer McElroy and James Owens. Come on down. I remind you, please state your name for the record.
Nice to see everybody. Spencer McElroy, Executive Director of Lime Kiln Theater. Thank you guys for your past support and consideration for future support. We're very proud of what we've accomplished at Lime Kiln over the past 12 years. An interesting stat that we pulled recently was we've had 288 Grammy Award-winning artists or nominations over the past 12 years. Last year, we're particularly proud. We sold nearly 10,000 tickets, almost 15,000 attendees across all of our events. About 60% of those come from outside of Rockbridge County. So providing meaningful tourism benefit. And our grants and donations and support from the city and the county, 100% go towards capital improvement projects. We've been very proud of that fact over the past 12 years and have invested almost $600,000 into the site, made very meaningful improvements. And this year, the support that we're asking for is to help upgrade our sound system, which we put in our proposal. Our current sound system hails from the 1990s. It was a big improvement when we bought it used in 2014, and it's time to upgrade. The artists that we're getting to come to Lime Kiln are, like I said, many Grammy Award winners, and they expect the best, and that's the next upgrade will be very meaningful to Lime Kiln, and we expect to last probably 15 years. And we've already raised over half of that expense, which is about $160,000 internal through board donations and external donations. And we're attempting to raise the rest through grants and funding sources such as this. And we're well on our way. So we hope the city will aid us in that. And if I have 30 seconds left, I would like to thank the sitting city attorney for introducing me to the love of music when I was just a second grader. Taught me the drums for many years, and part of the reason why I'm in this job right now. I was happy to see him here tonight. Thank you, Rob.
Fantastic. Talk about full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah, the 1990s were pretty awesome. So I would imagine the equipment's pretty awesome, but also.
Yeah, it's full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for your consideration, and we'll see you at Lime Kiln this summer.
Excellent.
I'm waiting for you to say, now let's have a Lime Kiln welcome.
Yeah.
That's right.
Spencer, thanks for joining us and bringing a bodyguard. Always safe travel in numbers, and grateful for the contributions that Lime Kiln makes, and congratulations on the amazing number of dollars improvements that have been seen out there. Having been out there, it's fantastic. So thank you. Next on the list is Al Carr, to be followed by Gail Carr. And Melissa Sayer, you're on deck. Welcome, Cars.
You all, thanks so much for having us. All right, Gail's going to go first, if that's all right.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to speak to you all on behalf of the Talking Book Center. I understand that most of you all are familiar with it and that you have decided in the past that when they had been receiving some funding that they're not at the moment, but we would like to at any rate stress what an important service that they provide. They are under the National Federation of the Blind is over the Library of Congress, which sponsors them. Most states have one library. The state of Virginia has two. The little branch at the library in Stanton was #1 in the entire United States a few years ago. The job that they do is absolutely amazing. When you find out that you are blind or vision impaired, your doctor can fill out a form authorizing you to access their services. And we had just seen the little blurb in the local paper, so call the library. In 2 days, we had received our first cassette from Stanton. They asked you interest in books. They sent 3 different tapes there. And after that, if you see a book, you call them up. They have access, as I said, to over 200,000 titles. A lot of things are not available because they're picking titles for the entire United States. And fortunately, Al has a friend that'll come on Thursdays and read a lot of books that are not done that, or a local interest perhaps to them. There are 62 people in the Lexington area that take advantages of these services. These services free. They provide the cassette, the players, you can return the cassettes too. You just pick them up in the library and return them, take them back to the library to return that way too also. But they are, for the blind, basically, well, we were spending $75 to $100 a month on books for Al because he's a voracious reader. He had been an attorney for 30 years before he came to Lexington. He'd been on planning commission and chairman here, the zoning board and chairman of that. He'd been historic Lexington and chaired that also for many years. He's used to doing a lot of reading. And when all of a sudden you lose your vision, basically what you can do is nothing. You can't really leave the house unless somebody takes you in the car or comes to get you and takes you to lunch. And he's fortunate he does have friends that do that. But other than that, what you find is you're sitting in your living room or somewhere, and he listens to books basically 6 to 8 hours a day. He may take some up when he goes to bed, but if you don't have other interruptions, there's nothing else you can do. We tell him in the morning if the sun is out, if it's raining, he can hear that. He's not aware of these things. The books are a lifeline for him. This is the cassette player that they provide you with. It's like the original ones that you got a long time ago with on and off, forward, backward, louder, and all that. We had been using Audible books. The problem with that was I had to bring it up for him to know the book and all of that. If I went off somewhere and he was listening, if he happened to brush it, he could lose the title, the whole thing. He sat there.
That was with the iPhone there.
Yes, that's what I mean when we put it on that. With this, I can go off for the whole day. The cassettes, this cassette will hold 5 Harry Potter books. Some of these he
None
has.
of which I listened to,
No.
but that particular cassette
Yeah.
has 15 full volumes on it.
And some of them he'll just get, if he has favorite authors, run all of them there. He may have 35 books on these. It can only go in this machine one way. We had been through when you used to get them and they had fronts and backs and backwards and forwards and you couldn't figure out what they were. There's no way that you can mess this up. As I said, he has this, his library consists of all of these that come in a little carrying mailing case, and he can pull it out at any point, take up another book, put it back in, and it'll pick up with that. It has been an absolute godsend. because you can get newspapers on these, you can get all kinds of things through them. And as I said, it's just, if you all ever have any extra dollars at all, it is very important because it makes such a difference in their life. When you think about if they did not have these books, what they would be doing all day. I mean, you can't even go out and walk around because the yards are uneven. You don't know what you're stepping in. You have no idea out there if there's not somebody who's free to go with you. And as I said, we're very fortunate we have friends that do that. But we just wanted to come and stress the importance that we feel if you can come up with any money anyway. Well,
Thank you. Mr. Carr.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you all very much. I'll be brief. The lifestyle change is probably one of the most significant physical things that you can have happen to you. And my blindness came on very quickly. But luckily, I was in my 70s when it happened. So there was a plus there because I had done most of the stuff I wanted to do, but by the same token, there was a lot of stuff that I continued to want to do, and that's taken away from me. If it weren't for talking books, I basically would not have contact with the outside world. Because as Gail said, you're almost completely isolated. But you can read books, you can pick categories, the staff people work with you. All I have to do is pick up the phone and call, and they'll send me books, cassettes, that kind of thing. And I think one of the most important things with a serious physical handicap is the ability to keep your equilibrium, keep your sense of humor, keep your contact with the outside world. And if it weren't for talking books, I would have a hugely difficult time doing it. As I think Gail may have mentioned, we've got about 60 to 65 people in the area that use these services. And again, I understand the pressures and constraints that you're under, the decisions you've made, but I would just reinforce what Gail said. If you do have some extra money, they certainly would appreciate anything that you would contribute to it. And with that, if you've got any questions, be happy to try to answer them. But thank you all for the opportunity to turn that down.
now you know how it works.
Appreciate the chance to address you.
Thank you.
very much.
Carrs, we're elated to have you here this evening, and your advocacy for the talking books is loud and clear. Understand where you're coming from, and glad that service is available for you. So thank you for coming out this evening. Next is Melissa Sayer with VPAS and Julie Goyette on deck.
Good evening, members of council. My name is Melissa Sayer. I live locally at 8 Jordan Street in Lexington, and I'm here on behalf of Valley Program for Aging Services, also known as VPAS. We are the local area agency on aging, one of 25 in the state of Virginia. And we are, the resource for aging in this area, helping everybody navigate the entire process. We work with anyone who's 60 and up and their caregivers. And as you can imagine, that covers a broad range of needs and issues. 60 and up. So we, help everyone from the, active traveling senior who's, living their best life to unhoused individuals to people who are on our Meals on Wheels program and relying on that service in order to remain in their homes as opposed to go into a long-term care facility. Our key programs, Meals on Wheels is the primary one. again, that's helping people remain in their homes, which most people want to do, and live independently as long as possible. Volunteers are key to making that program run. We couldn't do it without them. We are so blessed and fortunate to have wonderful volunteers who make those connections with the Meals on Wheels recipients, have bonds, check on them, when they do their deliveries, make them, recognized as the people they are, and give them the attention they deserve. We also offer transportation to medical appointments, social wellness, physical activities. We do Medicare counseling, which is, big issue. And the main thing to know about that is that it's unbiased information by a certified specialist. I see people go in that office with Margie, worried, concerned. They walk out, it's like the burden has been lifted off their shoulders. They've been given good information, not being sold anything, and they can walk out knowing that they've got a good decision. They know what decisions that they can make. The other main thing with VPAS is just the information and assistance and resources we provide. We know this area, we live in this area, and the key to navigating the whole aging process is knowing the disparate resources that are available. And until you're in it, you don't know. You're not usually thinking about it. And we're there whether people are trying to plan for the future or they're in a crisis. VPAS, we have to work creatively and collaboratively with other organizations, because otherwise it just wouldn't happen. We work with RARA, the health center, DSS for certain. We get lots of referrals from Adult Protective Services, all those types of places. We're also proud to be partnering with the new Triad collaboration, which maybe you guys have heard about. Lexington PD is very involved with Rockbridge County Sheriff's Office and Buena Vista Police Department. And that is a coalition between law enforcement and seniors and senior social agencies to help promote safety and avoid the scams and frauds that is so prevalent in our area. So stay tuned for information on that. Just want to reiterate that every dollar that comes to VPAS is maximized by either working collaboratively, figuring out the solutions. We want to avoid duplication of resources. We want to maximize what we can do for Lexington residents. Just today, as a quick snapshot, and this is just me, not my colleagues, but I did home visits at the Windermere, at Lexington House, on Gibbs Street. I spoke to a local professional who's thinking about moving her mom to the area, about what senior living options are available, what caregiving options are available, talking her through the whole thing that she knew nothing about, and then also helping talking to a grandmother, lives in Lexington, raising her grandson, and their Dominion bill is getting ready to be cut off. So talking through that. So if you're 60 and up, you got a problem, come to us. If we don't know the answer, we will try to get a referral and point you in the right direction. Really, that's it. Just want to thank you very much for your past support and consideration of future support. And thank you, each of you, for what you do for the city of Lexington. It is appreciated and valued. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Melissa, and thanks for the work that you do supporting our seniors.
Bit of my propaganda.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Julie Goyette with the Rockbridge Regional Library and Stephanie Richard on deck.
Hello, I am Julie Goyette. I am also a resident of the city. I'd like to thank you for your service as a resident. And I also want to thank you for your continued support of the library system. It means a lot to us. For fiscal year 27, the Library Board of Trustees draft operating budget requests $279,473. This is an increase for us. It's based on an increase in health insurance. I know you all are also feeling that pain. A 3% cost of living for our staff and additional funds for a promotion. And then just like you, the continued costs of operating are rising. The library provided 6 years of budget actuals, FY20 through FY25. The current FY26 budget and actuals from actuals from July through December 25, when we submitted our budget to you all. In partnership with our local government, schools, Rockbridge Regional Library System adds great value to our communities. The library bridges the divide, the digital divide, by providing one-on-one technology training, 24/7 Wi-Fi, and public computers. We also play a crucial role in supporting early childhood literacy by providing access to books, story times, and we also have literacy tutors. They're recruited and trained, and they do a great job. Rockbridge Regional Library System also supports economic development in the communities we serve by providing resources to entrepreneurs and job seekers and also small businesses. Patrons also have access to job vacancies and help navigating those when they come into the library. Patrons who have limited social access, the library offers a welcoming space for support groups and any other individual that's welcome. Everybody's welcome at the library. We put the P in public for sure. Outreach vehicles travel all over the region, and that exists from Bath County, all of Bath County, through Rockbridge, Lexington, and Buena Vista. We cover a lot of area, and we go to places like churches and post offices, and even convenience stores, so that we can provide access to these materials and a variety of other sources. We also offer self-serve lockers in Fairfield. This is very popular because we have no brick and mortar building on the north side of the county, so that's very helpful. And we also provide passport processing and notary services. There is a fee for passports. There is no fee for notary services. The graphic before you shows 8 months from July of 25 through February of 26. And those numbers are increased based on the same time last year, the same period of time. Do you have any questions for me?
Julie, could you speak a little bit about the Fairfield
Sorry.
closet or
It's self-service lockers.
okay.
Several libraries have these. We were able to get them with an ARPA grant,
Mhm.
and they're at the Fairfield Rescue Squad.
Okay.
You can pick up and drop off books there. We give you a code so that you're notified through your email or your text, however you want to be notified. And then you go out there, you press in your code, you pick up your book. We've already checked it out to you. It makes it a lot easier for people who don't have to come all the way into Lexington to pick up something.
Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
What are your audiobook resources like? Do you have in the terms of audiobooks, do you have a lot or?
We have physical audiobooks, and they're on MP3s and also CDs. We still have books on CD for the people that have older cars. And then we also have a variety that's available online through Overdrive. We have a library account that's specific to us. It's called Overdrive Advantage. And then we're in a consortium with this region. And you can listen to those, Nick, through Libby. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not. A lot of people find that very popular.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And then we were hearing about the talking books as far as for vision impaired individuals. Do you provide any services?
We direct them to talking books, certainly. We do talk to caregivers. They come into the library. We're a dementia-free space. We also offer whatever resources we can. We have magnifying glasses, obviously, and sheets that you can put on your books to read when you're in the library, but nothing tops talking books. That's a great resource.
Very good. Any other questions from council? Julie, thank you for being with us, and thanks for your service leading the Rockbridge Regional Library and keeping it
you.
lively and creative.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Stephanie, come on down with Rats, and Juan Pablo on deck.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Richard, also a Lexington city resident, just around the corner from Mayor Friedman on Thornhill Road. Thanks for having me. I just started as the executive director for Rockbridge Area Transportation System in November. So RATS is our acronym, as I'm sure everyone is aware, because the other name is way too long. So RATS provides door-to-door transportation non-emergency medical transportation mostly, but we can transport for a variety of reasons, not just medical. But for the most part, we're driving people to adult day programs, so Eagles Nest and Magnolia Center. So people with intellectual disabilities or other serious mental illness that are not intellectual disabilities. That made up about 40% of our rides in 2025. 30% were to dialysis. So that's going to the adult day programs. That's 5 days a week. That's why that's so many rides. Dialysis is 3 days a week. Every week of the year, it doesn't matter if it's a holiday, if it's snowing, if there's ice, sheets of ice on the ground for 2 weeks, people have to go to dialysis. So, so that makes up, those two groups make up about 70% of our rides. About 17 additionally are to other medical appointments, like, you know, the one-off medical, dental, mental health, that kind of thing. And then we also provide rides to employment, to the airport sometimes, to community meals. So those make up obviously a much lesser portion. In 2025, 79% of our rides were to people 65 years of age or older or with a disability. And about over 11% of our rides in 2025, we provided free of charge. And that's based on need. So I, of course, want to start off by thanking you all for providing our modest office building that we very much appreciate in our parking lot that we have maxed out with our vehicles. So we really, really appreciate that continued support every year. It's very valuable to us. Our huge expense is our fleet and keeping our fleet up, paying for insurance, maintenance. And so I have requested half of what we pay the city of Lexington in personal property taxes for our fleet. So that's what I've requested for the next fiscal year. And that's it. I'm going to just keep it short unless anybody has any questions.
Very good. Stephanie, thanks for
Okay.
joining us. Members.
Do you have any upcoming capital costs, or is it
I'm sorry, what was it?
any capital costs, any big purchases you're making this year or anything like that?
So our biggest funder is the Department of Rail and Public Transportation, and I've requested 2 new vehicles from them. We have 2 very old vehicles that we need replacing. So they give us 90% of the cost of that. And I've asked the county of Rockbridge to pay the other 10%. We have to find the 10% locally. So I've asked that of them. So that's a big cost, but mostly we don't have to pay for it. We pay like $62,000 a year just in our liability insurance for driving the vehicles around. So like that's a huge cost every year. Yeah, I mean, I should have thought to bring some fun graphics for you too. I didn't know that was an option. So next year I'll be giving you the graphics, but yeah, the vehicle maintenance, insurance, all the costs of that is every year really a big part of our budget.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Any other questions from council? Nope. Thanks.
Okay,
Stephanie,
thank you.
appreciate you being with us, and thanks for your work with
I
RAT.
also wanted to say you should listen to On Libby because it's really awesome. I just counted after you said 12 audiobooks already this year on Libby. So yeah.
Good. Juan Pablo, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. Good evening. My name is Juan Pablo Berrispeitia, but everybody calls me JP, which is much easier. I am the interim executive director at Valley Children's Advocacy Center. I've only been there 8 months for now. And it's the first time we are speaking to the council and requesting funds. We're a 501c3 organization. We've been created in 2004. We are fully accredited with the National Children's Alliance, which means that there are very strict national standards that we have to meet in order to conduct our work. We provide services for children who have been victims of sexual and physical abuse and their families. We conduct for them forensic interviews, we provide advocacy, and we also provide mental health services. We work in coordination with police, CPS, and Commonwealth attorneys, and we serve children and families in Stanton, Augusta, Waynesboro, Lexington, Rockbridge, Buena Vista, Allegheny, Highland, and Bath. Here in Lexington, we work through a partnership with Project Horizon, where we have a center to do these interviews. We've been serving children of Lexington for 10 years now. A little bit about what we do. So Valley CAC provides immediate specialized response when child abuse is reported in the city of Lexington. When law enforcement or CPS receives an allegation of sexual or severe physical abuse, a forensic interview is scheduled at the CAC location. This interview is conducted in a comfortable, private, child-friendly setting by a specialized, highly trained CAC staff person who is skilled in child memory and development so that the questions that they ask to the child are asked in an age-appropriate and non-leading manner. The interview is observed in real time by law enforcement, CPS, victim witness personnel, and prosecutors. This removes the need for duplicate and traumatic interviews to the child. While the child receives a forensic interview, non-offending caretakers receive crisis intervention, advocacy, and psychoeducation, and the family is referred for ongoing services, including mental health counseling and case management. Without a CAC, when there's an allegation or suspicion of child abuse, a child would be interviewed by multiple professionals who are not trained in specialized interviewing victims in a supportive, age, and developmentally appropriate non-leading way. With each new time the child shares their experience, they are being traumatized and inconsistencies start to arise from improper questioning and repeated interviews, making victory later in the courtroom very difficult. The neutrality and specialized knowledge base of the CAC staff, combined with the best practices of the CAC model that we get through our accreditation, is proven to increase plea deals and prosecution outcomes in child abuse cases. That's it. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, JP. Members of council have any questions for JP? No, don't hear any. Thank you for the work that you do, and welcome to the new position.
Thank you.
Certainly. Is there anyone else who would like to speak at this public hearing regarding our proposed budget and agency funding request? Not seeing or hearing anyone else. Our purpose is to learn of the organizational needs that you all have expressed and the advocacy, certainly like we've heard tonight with Talking Books, and grateful for the many, many positive things and efforts in our community to make the fabric of our community that much stronger and safer, all in all. Is there any, at this time, I'd like to close the public hearing at 7:37 and open it up for council discussion, if any. Hearing none, thank you all. We'll move to the next item, which is consideration of the minutes. And those were in your packet. Is there any objection to approving the minutes as presented? Hearing no objection, they are approved. We'll move directly into citizens' remarks and comments. Is there anyone here who would like to speak on something else on their mind or heart this evening? Not hearing anyone. Cars, thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you, Mr. City Council.
Al, don't stay out too late. Okay. Don't tell all you know. At this time, I'd like to close the citizen remarks and comments at 7:38. We have an item on the consent agenda and welcome council's consideration.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Have a motion and a second, a roll call vote. Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Strong,
Aye.
Mr. Betts, Mr. Ziegler,
Aye.
Mr. Driscoll,
Aye.
Ms. Alexander. Motion carries unanimously. Juneteenth committee will have good fun on June 19th. Not aware of any unfinished business. And moving into reports and commissions, airport feasibility, Mr. Driscoll.
No meeting.
Thank you, sir. Blue Ridge Resource Authority, Mr. Smith.
Nothing to report.
About for Main Street.
Sure do. From Main Street, good attendance and positive feedback was received from the Meet the Chief event held at Lilburn last week. And from Main Street, thanks to Tom and to Justin for the participation in that event. Grandmother's Thimble Quilt Shop is now open at 23 West Washington. Nice to have an active retail space there. The owner had been looking around for a while to find a spot and finally landed there. Lexington Bicycle Repair is setting up in the space below Pure Eats. Woodrow's and Flex Fitness are both closing in late May. Flex Fitness is consolidating with Center of Gravity. We'll keep you updated on how that comes along. And I think Rebecca mentioned this in her presentation back in March. Excited to have dedication of the new courthouse square at business after hours on Thursday, April 30th. Director will be attending the National Main Street Now conference in Tulsa from April 13th to 15th, and looking forward to bringing back some great ideas from the workshops and networking there. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Any questions for Mr. Smith? Mr. Smith, you mentioned consolidation. I'm not sure. Flex Fitness and
Center of Gravity.
Gravity, and they're consolidating geographically.
Don't know the particulars. I don't know if they've been released. I would presume they're not going to be operating in the hub, but that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Planning Commission, Ms. Strawn.
Sure. Planning Commission met last Thursday. They reviewed again the application from Washington Lee for a certificate of appropriateness for Founders Hall. I think last time I mentioned that there were two issues. One was a bollard that they thought was not night sky compliant, but it was night sky compliant. So that is no longer an issue. And they had asked for additional drawings of the landscaping, and Planning Commission didn't feel like they were the right drawings that they wanted, the perspectives that they wanted. So Washington and Lee, and they also said they feel like there should be more landscaping. So they've asked Washington Lee to go back and review their landscaping plan. So that should come before Planning Commission at the next meeting. And we reviewed the transportation chapter of the comprehensive plan, again, as part of our 5-year review of the comprehensive plan. And we approved zoning ordinance amendment 2026-01 to amend the townhouse requirements and taking out the requirement that it has to front on a public street. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Strawn. Any questions for Ms. Strawn? Regional Tourism, Mr. Betts.
Tourism will have presentations to discuss the regional tourism strategic plan. There will be 2 opportunities to attend at the Virginia Horse Center in the mezzanine, Tuesday, April 28th at 5:30 p.m. and Wednesday, April 29th at 10 a.m. At these sessions, anyone able to attend will hear directly from Jen Eddy, and will hear her team at Eddie Alexander, and those who attend will have the opportunity to ask questions. And a report.
Thank you, sir. I encourage members of council to reach out and RSVP for your choice if you plan to attend. Should be good information and a great peek into the future of tourism in our community. Raro, Mr. Ziegler.
The RARO Board of Directors met yesterday. We are moving full steam ahead into our spring sports. When we do our spring sports for baseball and softball, we use Brubaker Field, Fox Field, Maury River Middle School Field, the Annex, which is at Brubaker, Laurel Park in Buena Vista, Glenmorey Park in Buena Vista, Camden Field, and Mace Field. We use a lot of diamonds. We use just about all that have access to in Lexington and Buena Vista, then also in Rockbridge County. So we appreciate when the localities provide the good infield dirt, when the infields are well manicured, the ball is, it's a little easier to field the ground balls, but we appreciate that. As we wrapped up our winter sports, we had a couple of teams participate in an all-star tournament at Buffalo Gap High School. In recent years, we've sometimes won some age groups, sometimes come in second, sometimes third. It's usually a really good gauge of our talent in the area. This year, all of our teams came in second place. They all played in the championship, but they came up just a little bit short. But it was great for those kids to participate. Final numbers participating in baseball right now: 261 kids playing baseball, 185 playing softball. If you have a desire to play pickleball in the area, you can play 5 or 6 days a week now. We offer pickleball Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and on Sundays when Christine Clancy has an open Sunday. Sometimes she will open up and provide that location to play. So we will play at Moy River Middle School, Rivermont. Those are our main locations. Incidentally, Rockbridge County employees have a night of pickleball that they've kind of carved out for county government employees. That's pretty popular. So I commend them on that. We appreciate the city helping us getting the scoreboard at Brubaker Field, kind of working with Dominion, doing the polls. And we also approved our budget yesterday at our board of directors meeting. We appreciate Jen's service. She works really well, obviously, with Chad Coffey and the Railroad Board of Directors, and she provides us excellent data. And it was easy to make a motion and approve that budget. So thanks. Any questions?
2 questions,
Oh,
at least. One, is the scoreboard installed already?
Not
at
yet.
Brubaker? Okay.
But it will be.
Okay.
We'll
It just didn't look like it's, wanted to make sure my eyes didn't deceive me in the dark. And is Waddell online or offline for Raro? There used to be a diamond there.
That diamond, we do not use any outdoor space at Waddell.
Okay.
Of course, we use the heck out of the gym,
Mhm.
but that diamond isn't needed at this point.
Good. Thank you.
I've only had an opportunity to observe the games of soccer and softball, and the last couple of years actually, and the coaches are wonderful with the kids, not just for their coaching expertise for that sport, but they're great mentors, and it's much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you. We are, as an organization, we are nothing if it isn't for volunteer coaches. And I think that our staff knows that a young person's experience, being positive or negative, can come from a coach. You know, you might not win a game the whole season, as you're trying out a sport, but if your coach provides the proper encouragement and environment, that you'll come back the next season. So it's great to hear that. And we know, and we talk about our volunteer coaches at just about every board meeting, because we know that that's what we rely on. And I think I've shared before, like at basketball, we have 59 teams. Well, that means you need a coach or two usually for literally every team. And so that's it's also why we need more gyms, by the way. We had 59 basketball teams this year, but that's a whole other issue. But thank you, Marilyn, for those comments.
Well, their patience.
Thank you.
Great deal of value in mentoring, as was declared earlier this evening. Success that we're having at Lime Kiln today is attributed to our sitting city attorney. So paying it forward. Good work. Threshold, Ms. Alexander.
Threshold met on March 25th. We had an opportunity to review our first 4 applications for the homeowner helper program. We weighed all the requests in detail, scored them based on health, safety, urgency, emergency, immediate risks. If projects were external, we did determine whether they fell within the program parameters. We included the windshield survey scores and the household criteria regarding the head of household, for veterans, elderly, disabled, and underage children in the home. This program prioritizes repairs that are basically addressing health, safety, or welfare concerns. There are some requests that could be referred to community partners, and we have also had discussions with a potential grant that another agency would partner with us to write and administer a grant from their grant resources. So that's something we're watching and hoping for. There are several more applications on deck to cost out and hold on to until this first group of projects are completed. Basically funding those first, then moving to the next group. By then, we will know what we have actually spent on projects, including the contingencies and the salary of the, I think the title is maybe project manager, who's helping with costing out and inspecting. The staff had estimated the cost of all of those requested projects that we just reviewed. Really, it was over $239,000. But after careful review of the allowed repairs under our guidelines that we established, we could potentially spend approximately $133,000. So we pared down those requests tremendously. We'll continue to take applications until the final estimates, until they get to 250,000 of our budget and all the projects are completed. And we also have already reviewed the housing chapter and made notations to update the goals, objectives, and strategies portion of the chapter. And in the next meeting, that will include discussion of the regional housing study for the purpose of determining the future housing goals of Threshold. For the moment, we've got our hands full, but we want to be ready for whatever is next. There are a lot of housing opportunities in front of us in Lexington, but we want to be strategic in our decision-making process, determining what our next goals are.
Thank you, Ms. Alexander. Any questions for Ms. Alexander?
I have one. I know that you've worked with Rockbridge Homes and Barnes for your estimates. So are you partnering with them? They will do all the repairs, or were they just helping with that one
I
step?
believe Arnie has a list of contractors, but it does not necessarily include that group.
Good evening, everybody. We wanted to have a contractor that we were comfortable with just to do the estimates. I haven't even talked to them if they're interested in bidding for the jobs when they come in. So we would just use them as a resource to come in and do the work write-ups that were sort of the detailed estimates for the work.
Okay, and then there will be a bidding process. Oh,
Absolutely,
that's great.
yes.
Great. Thanks.
Good question. Thank you, Arnie. Thank you, Ms. Alexander. Any other questions for Threshold? Hearing none. For my report, just a couple of items. Celebrations of sorts. If you failed to go see the Washington Lee women's basketball team, shame on you. Very entertaining and very high quality basketball, and congratulations on their 31-1 record. This year, they reached the Elite Eight of the Division III NCAA basketball tournament. Came up just short in the game against Denison. I didn't see who actually ended up being the national championship. Denison. So they that was probably the best game Denison had, or challenge that they had. To pile on from Mr. Smith's report, welcome to Chief Dahl. The Meet the Chief event was well attended, and Chief Dahl and the LPD have a bright future ahead. Very excited about his leadership and participation in our community. Also want to express thank you to Sheriff McFadden for hosting the senior social at the Virginia Horse Center. It is a great day when we can gather to share a meal and learn. The number of people actively scamming our neighbors is alarming, and events like this help to minimize the damage. So Sheriff McFadden will be hosting these with some frequency, but it's just shocking how many folks have had bad outcomes in our community of getting scammed. Thank you to Julie Jenkins for her service to the Chamber of Commerce. She recently retired of sorts from the Chamber of Commerce in the Greater Lexington area. The Chamber remains a valuable partner, and I encourage you to engage with the Chamber in their many activities promoting business, education, and service above self. The two-legged team right now with Aaron and Tracy are actively seeking someone to come in and handle communications. And lastly, thank you to the Timber Frame Guild. If you've never seen a timber frame in process, it's an amazing beehive. And the work at Project Horizon on Varner Lane was no different. There were, I'm not sure how many people down there on, I believe, Tuesday, but it went up lickety-split, and there's a beautiful timber frame. You may have seen it as the photo of the week on the city website. Thank you, Kate, for distributing that. But I encourage you to go by Varner Lane and check out the structure. And if you happen to see Greg or Cindy Mullen, thank them again for the contributions they make in our community. And with that, I will, unless you have any questions of me, I'll pass it along to the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of quick announcements. We are resuming our paving schedule, which you may have seen around town if you've driven on some of the roads that have been milled and repaved. Just for your information, we're focusing the end of this week and the beginning of next week on our parking lots, our municipal parking lots. So we have put down the first course, not the final course of asphalt at Kids Place. The weather prevented us from getting down the final course of asphalt there. So that'll happen after Easter. We know many parents and grandparents take their kids there over the Easter weekend. So it looks a lot better than it did, but it's not the final product. We'll be doing the municipal pool and Brubaker Field parking lot next week, as well as the Roy Smith lot, which is right off of this building. And we've communicated that with the Rockbridge County. And so they are aware. Second, city offices will be closed tomorrow for our spring holiday, so we will resume administrative offices on Monday, April 6th. And the best way to keep informed about the city of Lexington's upcoming week ahead is the city manager's office weekly report that was referenced in the mayor's remarks, capably put together by my colleague Kate Beard. Happy to answer any questions you have.
Members of council have any questions for the city manager? Hearing none, thank you very much. And Kate can confirm I will email you my report, printed report, so you can add it to and make your job a little bit easier, and encourage my colleagues to do the same. City Attorney, welcome, Rob.
I wanted to just say thanks for the warm welcome. I'm filling in for Jeremy Carroll, who's on spring break this week. And I joined the local government group at Stillman Thomas and Battle almost a month ago. So I'm still new to the firm, but I've had some in-house experience at a couple of different localities. And so just looking forward to assisting Jeremy on work for the city of Lexington. Obviously, there's no place like home, as they say. So it feels good to be working for a community that I know really well. So
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Grateful that you're here and look forward to partnering with you in the days ahead. Hope we don't need your services for anything contentious, just procedural. Next item on the agenda is new business, resolution 2026-09. I'll call on the city manager, perhaps attorney, however y'all want to handle this.
This is another opioid class action lawsuit settlement. You've seen many of these before. This is a new one being brought forward. Sorry this didn't make the packet last week, but we added it on Monday. Staff recommends we approve this resolution, which will authorize us to enter into this settlement. Happy to answer any questions, or if they're difficult, please direct them towards Mr. Hubbard.
Very good. Members of council have any questions regarding this item? If not, I would ask for council's thoughtful consideration.
I make a motion that we approve resolution 2026-09, a resolution approving our participation in a combined settlement regarding opioid-related claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, would ask for a roll call vote. Mr. Driscoll?
Aye.
Ms. Strawn?
Aye.
Mr. Betts?
Aye.
Mr. Ziegler?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Alexander? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for bringing this forward, and thank you, council. Next item on our agenda is closed meeting, and I'll let you introduce it and our purpose, and have Ms. Alexander read us into the closed session. While she's preparing, thank you all for being with us this evening. And I do not anticipate we'll be taking any action after we have our closed meeting, other than to adjourn our meeting. Ms. Alexander.
I move that Lexington City Council convene in a closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711A3 for the purpose of discussing the disposition of city-owned real property along Spotswood Drive for a public purpose where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the city's bargaining position or negotiating strategy.
Second.
Thank you for that second. I have a roll call vote. Ms. Strong?
Aye, sorry.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Sigler.
Aye.
Mr. Driscoll.
Aye.
Mr. Betts.
Aye.
Mayor Friedman. And I vote aye. We can go into a closed meeting. Thank you.